If you just started playing in an all the mods mod pack, chances are you're going to be running into the mod Silent Gear. Today we're going to be doing a complete starter guide on how you can use this mod to survive 100 days in modded Minecraft. Silent Gear is all about creating tools and armor to help you conquer your world, and if you plan on surviving in your playthrough, you should get started on day 1 by using their tools and armor. The mod focuses on making tools and armor based on parts made from blueprints or templates. If you've ever used Tinker's Construct to forge your own tool parts, it is very similar in mechanics, but Silent Gear is a lot easier to get those metal tools in the beginning. Let's get started with the basics. Silent Gear replaces the way we craft tools, armor, and weapons with a system that allows us to customize each item by creating individual parts that form stronger items when crafted together. These items come with several advantages. Each item can be repaired on the go by using repair kits. They come with their own traits that act like enchantments on the item, and you are able to replace and upgrade parts as you get better materials. When you first load into the world, you might have something called a blueprint package. This package gives you several of the starter tool blueprints. They are easily made, so don't sweat it if you didn't start with it. We'll go over blueprints later on, but let's get started by using our knowledge of vanilla tools. The first step you should make in your playthrough is to convert any of your vanilla tools and armor to Silent Gear items. If you have already made yourself some basic wood or stone tools, go ahead and take the tool and put it back into the crafting table. You'll see that it converts your tools to Silent Gear, as well as giving it some cool traits along with it. We'll discuss traits a little later as well. Let's break down how Silent Gear items work. Every Silent Gear item can be broken down into several parts, and these parts are crafted by combining materials with a blueprint. When we combine the parts back together, we get the full item. So how do we start making these items? Silent Gear has two ways to create parts. You can either use a template or a blueprint for the tool part. Blueprints are the main items used to create parts, as they have infinite uses. If you have paper and blue dye, you can start out by making blueprints and skip using templates altogether. If you only have access to wood, templates are temporary blueprints that are consumed on use and are only meant for the beginning of your playthrough. You'll need a knife to turn logs into template boards. Let's go ahead and create the knife. Start out by combining 2 sticks together and a crafting table. This will get you a rough rod, which if we combine one of these with a piece of cobblestone, we'll get our first knife. When we combine the knife with logs in a crafting table, you'll create yourself template boards. With these template boards, you can create the templates needed to make your tool parts. To give you an example on how to create tool parts and items, we're going to make a sword. Start by crafting some template boards, and then with the template boards, craft yourself 2 different templates, the tool rod template and the sword blade template. You can search for every item in the mod by typing in @SilentGear at the bottom. Locate the sword blade template and right click on it. At the top, we're going to scroll until we see the gear crafting tab for Silent Gear. And here, we'll see that if we put the template in a crafting table with materials, we can get a sword blade part. This can be any material that you may have, like stone, any kind of ingots, stuff like that, as long as the item has Silent Gear material underneath it. We'll just use stone for this part, and craft ourselves a stone blade part. We're going to be doing the same thing with the tool rod pattern. Go ahead and put the tool rod pattern in a crafting table, and let's give it a wooden handle by placing 2 planks together with the template. Now that we have our parts, let's put them together in the crafting table to create our very first sword. If we hold shift over this newly crafted sword, we can see a list of traits on the item. This will tell you exactly what each trait does, as well as the stats of the item, like the durability, attack damage, etc. You can always check to see what each ingot and material does by looking for them in your mod pack. Now we're going to make our sword even better. Go ahead and grab yourself some iron and craft yourself another sword blade part using the iron. Instead of having to craft another handle to make a new sword, just combine your old stone sword with the new blade part in a crafting table. This will replace the blade with the new iron part and give us back our old stone blade. Silent gear allows us to upgrade our tools and armor and weapons as we get better materials in our playthrough. Speaking of upgrading, there are several upgrades we can put on our tools and armor, such as the tip upgrade. This upgrade is great for pickaxes. For example, if you only have an iron pickaxe, but you're looking to try and mine some obsidian to get to the nether, and you only find 1 diamond out in the world, we can use this 1 diamond to craft ourselves a diamond tip upgrade. To make yourself a tip upgrade, you'll need to combine the diamond with an upgrade base, as well as the tip upgrade blueprint to create yourself a diamond tip upgrade. Combining this with our iron pickaxe will upgrade the mining level to diamond, which allows the pickaxe to mine obsidian for the cost of 1 diamond instead of 3. It also upgrades the stats of the tool and gives it a new trait along with it. There are many more upgrade blueprints for tools and armor, so make sure to check these out. What happens if the durability reaches 0 on an item? The item doesn't just break and disappear. It just becomes broken, and we can repair them using repair kits. If you have iron already, craft yourself a crude repair kit. When we hover over the repair kit, we can see the efficiency of repairing our items and how many repair items it can hold. Think of the repair kit as just a little bag that holds the items you're going to use to repair your tools and armor. To show how to use the repair kit, start by placing the repair kit in a crafting table with some iron ingots around it, and it will give you a repair kit with iron in it. If we take and put our sword in the crafting table together with the repair kit, it fixes our sword. The repair kit has to have the materials your item is made out of to be able to repair it. The best way to use a repair kit is to stock it up before heading out on an adventure. This way, when your tool breaks while you're out, you can easily fix it on the go. Make sure to check out the other repair kits as they do upgrade as you get better materials. Silent Gear also adds other tools that you can create to help you out in the world. There are excavators, which dig 9 blocks instead of 1, hammers that mine 9 blocks instead of 1, and many more. It also adds several new weapon types such as the katana, which is faster than a sword but with slightly less damage. The machete, which is slower than a sword, but with more damage and can also harvest wood. The dagger, which is a small, low damage weapon that has a very high attack speed. The knife, which is just like the dagger, with higher durability, but lower damage and speed. And the spear, which is weaker than a sword, but has an overall longer reach. With all of these blueprints starting to pile up, it's best to make a Silent Gear blueprint book, which acts as a portable chest to store all of your blueprints in. As you upgrade your tools and weapons and replace the parts, this can get costly, but that doesn't mean those parts will go to waste. You can always make yourself a Salvager, which takes your parts or Silent Gear items and converts them back into the materials used to make them. Don't let them go to waste. Silent Gear also adds more ores and ingots to the game, which create stronger tools and armor towards the end game. You can find crimson iron in the nether, which is used to make crimson steel, which is stronger than diamonds. Azure silver, which is found in the end to make azure electrum, that has insanely high mining speed and great attack damage, as well as more crafted materials like blaze gold and Tyrian steel. While this is most of the mod, you can upgrade your items even further later in your playthrough. Silent Gear adds a machine called a material grader to grade materials and give them higher stats. This isn't really worth getting into in the early game with something like iron, but gets more use when using higher tier materials like crimson steel. With the material grader, You can put materials in and use a grader catalyst to give the material a grade, which will upgrade the material stats depending on the grade that is given. There are 3 grader catalysts. Tier 1, which is glowing dust, Tier 2, which is blazing dust, and Tier 3, which is glittery dust. The catalysts don't guarantee the best upgrade, but instead increases the chance of getting a better grade overall. The best grade you can get is max, which increases the overall stats of the item by a ton. The higher the tier of the material used, the more of an effect you'll see on the stats. If having max materials wasn't enough, you can upgrade the material even further by enchanting it using the Starlight Charger. While the Starlight Charger is the main item needed to supercharge your materials, you will actually need to create an altar-like area to use it. To make the altar, start by placing the Starlight Charger in the center of a 7x7 area in view of the sky. In each of the 4 corners, we need to create pillars that are 3 blocks tall. The top of the pillar is the only block that matters here, so you can use any decorative block for the first 2 blocks of the pillar or the ground underneath the Starlight Charger. At the top of the pillars, you have to use one of 3 different blocks. Tier 1 uses Crimson Steel blocks, Tier 2 uses Azure Electrum blocks, and Tier 3 uses Tyrian Steel blocks. The pillar cap determines the maximum charge level that can be applied to the material. Just like the material grader, there are catalysts that can be used to increase the level of charge we get. These catalysts are Tier 1, Blaze Gold Dust, Tier 2, Azure Silver Dust, and Tier 3, Starlight Dust. The Starlight Charger will only get Starlight power at night under the stars, hence the name. And when created properly, it will begin charging your items. This process takes a very long time and a lot of Starlight power on stronger materials, but increases the stats of the material by a massive amount. This is how we make the strongest material for our late game tools and armor. There are several other blocks in the mod, but they are all currently labeled as works in progress. You can have fun experimenting with them if you'd like, but I've covered all you'll need to survive 100 days with Silent Gear. If this video helped you out, make sure to like and subscribe to the channel for more guides and mod reviews to help you in modded Minecraft.